Hi, so this section is about how I've used Roger or Rabbit R1 for over the past month. So I use R1 almost daily. I use it to ask basic questions like what is the weather? I'll ask questions throughout the day to see how it responds for fun and for actually what I hope is accurate information. My first month, I tried to test tasks that I understood it can do, tasks I thought it would do, and test out tasks that I saw people post on social media, either asking how it works or indicating they were having challenges. And I was just trying to recreate those challenges or figure out how to complete those tasks. Okay, and so now what I did though is almost every interaction, the first time I did it, or I tried to record it. And so what I did was I created a list, a playlist for myself, and I do share it online. And it's really just so I could remember and refresh my um, understanding of what was going on. And so some of the tasks that I did was like I did translation. So translation works well. I do not have anyone in my house to test translation, so I would just use Google Translate and have Google Translate interact with R1. So believe it to be accurate. What did I learn? I learned that the conversation and the interactivity has to be short. If you hold the button for more than 60 seconds, like I mentioned before, the rabbit shuts down. So, on my part, my assumption is that everyone speaks quickly and does not hog the conversation when you're interacting with another individual. Hopefully, someone's not talking for a long period of time because if you push the button for the translation and you hold it for more than 60 seconds, your rabbit R1 is going to shut down. And then, so note taking, I had a blast with this one. I actually used it to transcribe the Star Wars, The Last Jedi movie, and I was challenged to transcribe Inception, and I did that. Both of these transactions came out great, and the audio was recorded. This the spreadsheets. This is fun, but it's unique. It's a little, you have to understand how it's supposed to work. And if you actually go to the website, it definitely states that the spreadsheets are a vision tool. So you have to have something visual for it to do the spreadsheet. And so I did do a couple that I did. I did a test with gold medals for the Olympics, and I did another one on receipts in here somewhere. I'm not going to play them, but I'll put the links in there. But the medal spreadsheet, it worked pretty good. And basically, what I did was I just created a basic spreadsheet, and you can do this by hand too. I actually made a really messy table on my Remarkable tablet and took a picture of it and asked it to add information, and it did. So in the vision spreadsheet test that I did, this is what I showed it. I showed it a blank table with columns, and then I asked it to provide the last two Summer Olympic years for the United States and to provide the number of gold, silver, and bronze medals, and it did it. And so I do have that. Like I said, it's right here, and it did go to my email. The other thing I did notice is that when I work on tables and spreadsheets, I just need to say send it. I have noticed a couple of times when I say email, it doesn't do it. It could be coincidence, but that's what I have picked up. The vision tool, I like this feature. I asked R1 what it sees, and so I basically say, what do you see? And it does a great job describing what it sees. I noticed that I am not the only person who recognizes that with the PTT option, that this may be a nice feature for people with vision challenges. The descriptions are awesome and they seem relatively accurate. I have mixed my vision tests with asking R1 to count and asked if it sees certain items or words or on directories. Counting is good. It will not count large quantities, but it will count. It will actually say something like there's just too many to count. And then note that the image has to be able to show the items clearly. So example, I asked it to count steps and it did very well. But then when I stepped back and I took it a little bit further back, I couldn't see the real steps because of the shadowing. So I have asked it to count toothpicks, people, traffic cones, and all of these were successful counts. Magic camera, this I think is probably everyone's favorite fun feature. This feature has gone viral, and I would bet that there could be many subreddits or sub communities that will just share their images. The Yelp reviews, this feature is all in how you ask. You can ask about local stores. You can ask like, hey, find me some Mexican restaurants or Taco Bells or hot dog joints, and it will try to do its best. But you do have to be careful about how you ask it. Like I asked it to review a local hotel, and it didn't do it, and then I just changed the words, and it did it. And then if you want to dig into the comments when you do Yelp reviews, you can do that. And basically, here it is. I knew it was here somewhere. So, so basically, if you want to dig into comments, say you ask about a local university, and you say, "Are there any Yelp reviews?" And it says, "Hey, there's 60 Yelp reviews, average of 3.5." If you do a follow-up question and you ask, "Were there any comments about the teaching abilities of the professors?" It will come back if there are comments on that. And so I played with it a little bit. I mean, I've done everything from asking it to tell silly stories. I've asked it to help me pronounce words, which it also does very well. I've asked it to make predictions like between the Tyson and Jake Paul event. And I've asked it to tell me a little bit about SpaceX. I have asked it to tell jokes. I have checked the over air recommendations. I've actually spoken to it or asked it to help me with understanding the technology adoption curve, and it has done that. And I've had it write receipts to spreadsheets as well. And so it is actually it's actually better than I think people are saying. There are frustrations, but I do think that it actually does really well for the most part.